Welcome to Schellhase Commons at Ursinus College. This successful preservation of Collegeville Hall, a former dormitory, and creation of a welcoming gateway between campus and the borough of Collegeville received a 2021 Montgomery Award for successful adaptive reuse, creative architectural and site design, and significant community impact.
So when we were originally engaged in the project, Michael Markman, who is a trustee at Ursinus, head of the building committee, challenged us to figure out a problem that he had. So this space that we're standing in right now is the Markman Family Terrace. And what this space envisioned in his mind was a closing space, a space that a prospective student would come onto campus, they would meet in admissions, they would go on a tour of campus, and then they'd come back, they'd grab a coffee, they come up to this outdoor terrace and sit and enjoy the view of campus. And then essentially that conversation would happen, that closing conversation. And how can we get you on campus? How can we get you to commit to Ursinus?
The college's inspiration for this project was to preserve the historic dormitory Collegeville Hall, which actually I lived in my senior year, to provide a more vibrant setting for student activities and a welcoming mat for incoming students, prospective students in enrollment, and also to have a door that opens to the community. For a college that has a core curriculum with open questions and open minds, it's great to have open doors as well.
So one of the successes on the project was really the renovation of Collegeville Hall. It was, it's a corner of the building, and it was a very old, somewhat run-down building that we had to connect the new building to, the new construction, which was a little bit of a challenge. But we were able to turn this older building into a really nice, successful, and vibrant project. It's a cafe now. Cafe 2020 is downstairs. The space up here is used for entertainment. Kids can study here. And one of the great things was the architect was really able to utilize the existing historic features of the building, the exposed brick, the exposed timbers, and really just, I think it was a super success.
Hi. I think that the Schellhase Commons project was a very exciting project for the borough, with the architecture of including the old with the new. It's a beautiful building. It encompasses the old brick structure along with some modern design, and it really is a piece that shows potential developers within the borough, how they can utilize existing architecture and bring in new architecture for a really neat look. They did a beautiful terrace. They have a little patio with the landscaping. It really pulls people from the street into the building because it is set back a little bit further. So I just think it's a beautiful showcase of what can be done to existing beautiful buildings within the borough to really develop and bring people into the building.
This project has an opportunity to be one of, if not the only, buildings that becomes the gateway onto campus. So in doing so, we really looked at the remaining campus buildings and tried to understand what's the best use of materials. So this gray ashlar stone is something that is used in other buildings on campus, and we really wanted to utilize that to root the building in a strong masonry material. But then also we started to introduce a material that looks like natural wood. So this is actually a metal product that looks like wood, will not require maintaining, but will still look like that rich, more sustainably driven materials on the project. We spoke earlier about the angle at which this is on. This is specifically on about a 30-degree angle, and that enables the visitors up to this terrace to get this great view looking back on campus of Baumberger and Berman Halls that allows the visitor up here to engage back with campus. We really thought heavily about the opportunities that this building presented as a gateway onto campus, anchoring the corner in the borough of Collegeville, but also what the space of College Drive really looks like in the foreground of this. We actually submitted 3 individual renderings of what we viewed as the reimagination of College Drive could look like. And those 3 renderings, you had people throwing, their hats up in the air and all this, and really just a celebration of space. So a new project was born, and a new project of reimagining College Drive enabled the two to seamlessly work together and to reimagine how somebody would step foot onto campus and experience Ursinus College for the first time.
One of our main focuses in designing this space was to provide a place that's both pedestrian friendly for the students, as well as the ability to have vehicular access through the site. They are able to close the space down as needed for events, and we control the traffic through the use of bollards and the paving materials. Another feature of the paving materials is that they are permeable, and there's storage below to capture the rainwater, thus reducing runoff. A lot of the materials were chosen to try to blend in with both the new building and the existing buildings on campus.
I think that the architecture and the design of Schellhase is really indicative of the evolving relationship between the college and the borough itself. It really establishes a forward-facing face to of the college to the community, and I think that that's also indicative of what we've seen evolve in the college and the borough over the last several years, a relationship in which we're forward-facing with each other as opposed to having our backs to each other. And I think this particular building really is indicative of that evolving relationship, and I really appreciate it.
So what Schellhase Commons has done is it has acted as a jump start for our Main Street. So our Main Street actually mostly stopped at 4th Avenue, but then now with Schellhase Commons, this building is open to both the residents and the students, offering a cafe, and a bookstore actually functions as a community bookstore for all the residents. So now we have retail at this spot, and it's actually already had an effect because we're talking about changing the zoning right here at 5th Avenue to allow for multi-use buildings with retail on the first floor and apartments above. And that will be the first retail, in addition to this one, that we have on Main Street. And we are really excited about that.
You know, when I talk to students and families who were here before this building, or who have watched it come together, or who are now just touring for the very first time, there's always such enthusiasm with knowing this is part of their tour and knowing that they will find out what is happening in this building. I've talked to some students who were here before and now, and they can't wait to be in this building. The casual feel of it, the fact that they know that it's right here on Main Street and people are curious about it, I think has been a great addition to their academic journey here and feeling at home.
Well, I have to give credit to Michael Markman from our Board of Trustees and his efforts with the architects to transform the concepts. We had a rather dull thud outline of this building to begin with. And when he took it to Bernardin and came back with the renderings, it spoke to everything. It opened the doors to our community. It was Main Street with a historic building, but it was the future with the way it was designed. It had a cool factor for students in terms of the openness of the whole building. And it makes a statement about the college, but also about Montgomery County, that it's welcoming, authentic, friendly, and it's going to be here for a long time.
Schellhase Commons at Ursinus College, a successful adaptive reuse using creative architectural and site design, is a notable example of how a new gateway can reconnect a college town to its campus.